And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome from whenever, wherever you may be listening. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show. Your host, Johnny Torres, for today. No, that's right. Brandon Rhymes is out getting more listings, getting more business, selling homes for folks all around the Tampa Bay area and even outside of the Florida area. As he mentioned a big listing the other day, about $10 million listing that he's really excited about. So imagine what he can do for you. Don't forget that this show is powered by the Platinum MVP team at platinummvp.team.kw.com, and we carry this show not only through terrestrial radio here thanks to our friends at Salem Radio, but also all across your favorite podcast platforms and even your smart TVs. So you can find us on Roku, Fire, Apple TV, and Amazon. Be sure to check us out there. Look for Brandon Rhymes or the Consumer Quarterback Show. And today we're going to kick off by thanking again, as we always do, all of our partners and sponsors that make the show possible. We are fired by local businesses, and one of them just happens to be one of our favorite, Replenish IV Solutions. Now, Replenish IV Solutions is a favorite of Brandon's. It keeps him healthy, keeps him strong. He goes in there, sits down, whether it's at his house, they'll come and do a house visit if you'd like, or you can visit them at one of their Tampa locations, and they'll do an IV infusion of you with all the vitamins and nutrients that you need to keep you running, keep a busy guy like Brandon running, and so check them out. It's an amazing way to make sure that you're getting all the vitamins and supplements that you need to keep you running. That's Replenish IV Solutions. Replenish IV Solutions. Give them a search, give them a find, and tell them Brandon Rhymes and the Consumer Quarterback sent you. As I mentioned, this is not only a vehicle for you to support small businesses and educate yourself as a consumer, as this is the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we focus on consumer advocacy, but we also help you to find and sell real estate throughout the Tampa Bay area, thanks to the Platinum MVP team. So first, we're going to check out our first property for today, which is going to be 14121 7th Street in Dade City. This is a beautiful existing restaurant that's been established in downtown Dade City since 1990. It's got a couple dining rooms upstairs as well. If you want to have some live-in management, or certainly these days, that makes it an attractive offer for somebody you want to bring in, maybe as an operator. It's got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. It's got all the furniture and equipment you need to start running this business day one. Plenty of parking available, and an amazing entrepreneurial investment for those of you out there looking to maybe start or own your first business. So check us out at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Our second property is going to be this gorgeous house in the Carrollwood area, 14663 Village Glen Drive, and this is in Tampa, as I mentioned, in the Carrollwood area. 2-bed, 2.5-bath, but it is almost 2,000 square feet. Gorgeous, completely renovated, outdoor pool and kitchen. It's even got a covered lanai and outdoor shower. You could live outside and inside the house. I mean, that's how great this house is. Master bath with a jacuzzi tub, a sauna, a tanning bed, and their gourmet style kitchen was designed by a local restaurateur. So you got to check this place out. It's 14663 Village Glen in Tampa. And again, you can find that listing and a lot more by visiting platinummvpteam.kw.com. Again, as we like to do here on the show, is not only educate you as a consumer, but bring on local businesses that can help you succeed in life, help you achieve the goals that you are trying to reach. And that may be purchasing your first home or moving up to an existing home, or maybe you're relocating from outside Tampa Bay or Florida. And so joining us now is Nick France from the CPF Mortgage. And so you're our first substitute for Justin Kelly, who's been recently on the show a few times. Thanks for coming, Nick.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having us. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your role currently at CPF.
Sure, absolutely. So as you did mention, I work with Justin Kelly, our president and CEO. I am a senior loan officer with our company. So if, as you mentioned, you're looking to buy that first home or maybe even you're an experienced buyer or investor and you're looking to get your financing secured, we're step one, where you would go to first and make sure you got that right game plan to get that done.
Yeah, one of the things I love about CPS right off the back is that it's a family business. Justin has given us the amazing kind of family story behind CPF, and it's one of the things that I find attractive. I like to know who's the guy that signs the paychecks at the end of the day, where my money's going. And it also, for consumers out there, I feel that it's easier to hold your business accountable. If you're locally based, where the boss sits every morning.
That's right, 100%. We're still working in office. A lot of companies, they're remote, they're all over the place. You mentioned that we're local, we're almost that family shop that you go online and you look at our reviews, you're going to see those people that you've talked to on the phone mentioned by name. So there is that element that it's a daunting thing, especially if you're not an experienced buyer or investor. So to have a name, to have a person you can know and kind of trust along the way. Go in and shake their hand if you want to.
Right.
That speaks volume for a lot of people right now, especially uncertain on the next step or the right step to make.
Yeah, and again, it's one of the beautiful things about this show is that if someone calls CPF Mortgage later today, not right now, they can ask for Nick, and Nick's going to answer the phone, right?
Absolutely.
You're not going to get some call center out there and who knows where.
That's right.
So Senior Loan Officer at CPF Mortgage, Nick France joining us on the show. Because the market is so hot right now, but at the same time, we're seeing a lot of uncertainty in other parts of our economy. What are some recent changes that people need to be aware of when it comes to getting ready to apply for a mortgage, or those who may be starting the mortgage process?
Yeah, that's a great point you bring up, right? Because the market's ever changing. The state of the market, the environment you're about to walk into is always changing. So to have a good idea of what's going on right now, one thing that we've specifically done as a lender to kind of help combat this new market is, competition is up. In order to get you as a buyer, you so to speak, higher up on the totem pole when you're making that offer. One thing we're doing, we're calling that listing agent to let them know the details behind what happened. Any little step you can to get your foot in the door on these offers when making offers to listing agents, you need to do that because it is a challenge right now, especially with limited inventory and even with raising rates, strong demand still currently there right now.
One of life's greatest mysteries is the credit score, right? A lot of people are always trying to figure out how to maximize their credit score, how to improve on it, or how to get out of a hole, maybe, potentially. Okay. Give us an idea right now in regards to, some of the credit repair work that you guys help people out there do, because, there is still a feeling that you might be missing out on a great housing market. And so for those folks who want to jump into the housing market, may need some credit repair, what is it that CPF can do?
Absolutely. So I would say probably one of the biggest hurdles is going to be credit, right? It's a very common one. And you mentioned the mystery of what goes into a credit score, right? Ever-changing score, if you would. So one thing that we do when we take a look at a credit report and a individual that's applied with us, and maybe they're close to the line but not quite ready to make it, we have a lot of credit repair tips that we implement with people as opposed to just sending them off. One of my favorite, not a lot of people know this, but an authorized user on a credit card is an interesting tool and method you can use and implement to boost your score without spending $1.
Interesting. So almost kind of like a cosign on a credit card gives them like an extra little boost there.
Yeah, so to break that down, as mentioned, it's a double-edged sword. So what that looks like is, let's say your credit was down and I had my credit in good standing. Crucial part, have someone that has their credit in good standing.
Yeah.
I could actually throw you on my card,
yeah,
and you never need the card. I could cut it up into a butterfly as soon as it comes. But I have you on as an authorized user, which allows you to piggyback off my credit history.
Now, big difference between whether or not that card gets used? Is
absolutely.
Okay.
Now, if the card is used poorly, let's say I run up a balance and I don't pay that down, you get the negative impacts of that. So this is a double-edged sword in which you really need to choose wisely who you have to help you with this.
Sure, and preferably someone who's not going to need it or use it.
Absolutely, and if they do, that's fine. Just make sure that it's being used in good standing. What does that mean? Not everyone has someone they can go to and ask to be thrown on their credit card, right? You gotta have to know someone and have a good relationship. So a more practical solution for people that don't have that is to, do exactly that. Get your own credit scores, get your own credit cards that are affecting your score in check.
Okay.
How do you do that? Pay down your balances, keep that low compared to the amount they let you borrow. That's going to significantly impact your score there.
And one of the other things is I think some people also may have the misunderstanding about closing out an account, right? Like paying it out in full. That also may not be a good thing.
As a matter of fact, that's the wrong way to approach it. So let's say you are that individual that you're like, hey man, I've heard it before. I got to pay down my balances. I get it. And you do exactly that. You go to pay that balance down, and you say, never again. Let's close the card.
Right.
That actually manipulates one of the many factors that build your score, your timeline, your time history. So that's pretty crucial to not go ahead and close the account down once you pay it.
Now, quick question. There's all these services now, both some that are offered through banks, some that are offered through credit cards, and now you've got some mobile apps, all that can say, hey, we're going to give you your credit score for free. You're going to be able to check your credit score whenever you want, at no cost to you. What, if any, impact does that have on your credit?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a good method to kind of follow it and track it. You're going to realize there's many different credit scores. There is definitely not one score.
Okay.
And even furthermore, there's different models that these credit bureaus look under. So, for example, you're applying for a credit card. Your Credit Karma might show you a score based off the model perceived that the creditors for a credit card would look at. Mortgage lenders, they're looking at oftentimes different scoring models. And they're taking a bigger picture into play. So that number you always see on your Credit Karma app is not always the number that a mortgage lender will be using when they go to get you that loan. That's something that a lot of people run into and they're caught off guard by. But it's absolutely not the same score that you're seeing on that free app that you're accessing there.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about credit repair and how that factors into the home buying process. But we also have some amazing information coming up on those who are relocating. All right, those who have moved lately in this big kind of exodus from other states into Florida. We'll explain to you what you need to know and need to do to be prepared to buy a home here in Tampa Bay and the greater Florida area. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be back with Nick Franz from CPF Mortgage.
Hey everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy Brandon Rhymes, a consumer quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martine Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com. QB.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Welcome back to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Your substitute host, Johnny Torres. Thank you so much. Also to Brandon for letting me fill in for him today as he's out there, again, growing the business, growing the Platinum MVP team, which this show is powered by. Don't forget, if there's a listing that you may be looking for or wanting to list with someone in this hot housing market, go ahead and reach out to the Platinum MVP team at platinummvpteam.kw.com. But coming up, we've got a feel-good story that you may be eligible for free admission to Zoo Tampa. We'll tell you exactly how you may qualify for that later on in today's show and today's Feel Good Story. Also, our sponsor for this segment is going to be the Golf Cart Depot. Now, these guys have been around for a long time, but they recently rebranded it to the Golf Cart Depot. They've got a couple locations in Tampa, Clearwater, but man, it just seems like these golf carts are everywhere now. Regardless of what neighborhood you may be living in, you see kids playing on them, you see parents using them during Halloween. You see them, people, especially down in Sun City Center. I love seeing the wide sidewalks, and seeing everybody parading around and going to Publix and all the different restaurants and stuff down there in their golf carts, especially with these gas prices. I think it may be cheaper to just buy a golf cart right now and get around in that for the time being. But go ahead and check out Golf Cart Depot at golfcartdepot.com. Again, 2 locations, Tampa, Clearwater, and again, another great local business and supporter of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Let's get into a couple of listings here that we have with the Platinum MVP team. 4220 West Pearl in Tampa. That's 4220 West Pearl in Tampa. This is a commercial building. It's a 1,200 square foot building, but it's also a mixed use property with about a little over half an acre in South Tampa, which is amazing. Incredible location for Tampa Bay, corner lot with ample parking, again in beautiful South Tampa. Great opportunity if you're a contractor, landscaping business, somewhere where you may have a lot of large vehicles or a lot of vehicles in general that you need room for. This is going to be the location for you, 4220 West Pearl Avenue in Tampa. Now let's take a look at another commercial property, which is 3008 North Nebraska Avenue in Tampa, so just north of the other property. This is, although it looks residential on the outside, it's actually deemed as an office space. It's almost 3,700 square feet, so it makes for a great office building. They've just dropped the price. They're motivated to sell this property. It's got 6 rooms, 3 bathrooms. It is designated mixed use. Plenty of building and street parking. Located in popular Seminole Heights. I mean, you got tons of restaurants, nightlife happening in Seminole Heights now, so it's a great area to be in. And of course, it's so close right there to the big intersection between I-275, I-4. Gets you, I mean, you'll be in downtown in 10 minutes. You can be down to Armature Works in probably half that time. So check it out, 3008 North Nebraska Avenue in Tampa, or you can look for a listing that may be closer to what you're looking for at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Joining us here for our second segment is Nick France, who's with CPF Mortgage. He's a senior loan officer sitting in for Justin Kelly today. We were talking about credit repair. We were just talking about, these applications, these mobile apps, and now it seems like everybody's just giving away your credit score. I mean, it's like you buy a bag of potato chips and it says that you can, check your credit score with it. And we were talking about also building that credit. There are so many credit cards out there. When it comes to advising some of the folks you've worked with in terms of credit repair, how do you differentiate? What are the things that you need to look for in terms of the good credit cards, the bad credit cards that are going to help you build your credit?
Right, absolutely. So using credit cards, great tool. When thinking about it as a method to boost your credit score, however, a little different, right? We want to get practical with it. Ideally, if you're trying to boost your credit score, you're probably not in the best financial spot. You might not be likely to be approved for all these great rewards cards. But
Sure.
one thing you can do, if you're right there and you need to get those scores up, getting new credit cards could be helpful. One thing I refer many people to, maybe you can't pay those balances down. Maybe you don't have a lot of money, to boost your score. Getting a secured credit card is a good method to help you get that new line of credit if you're really damaged and no one's willing to give you a small $300 or $500 credit card.
So what do you mean by a secured credit card?
Absolutely. So you could go online or you can go into a bank and let's say you have $200 put together or $100 even. Mm-hmm. You could put that money up and actually get it in exchange for a credit card that you can now spend.
Got it.
So that same $100 that you would have spent on groceries or gas, designate that to a card, preferably a secured credit card, if you can't qualify for a normal one. And that's going to allow you to get your foot in there and start boosting your score with new credit history as opposed to maybe some old dainty credit history.
Yeah, because that's one of the other factors that I don't think people
100%.
realize is that you may be one of these folks that has been real responsible about making sure that you don't have any balances out there. You've maybe had the same 2 or 3 credit cards for a long time, but you don't ever use them. You pay cash,
Absolutely.
But that in itself could hurt you a little bit if those accounts haven't seen activity in a long time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make sure that you're keeping your credit cards utilized with intention. What do I mean? I had one individual tell me, Nick, I have $30,000 in credit cards. I'm good. I'm only using $8,000 of my availability. My credit usage ratio, it's really good. I can have 30 to use. I'm only using 8.
Sure.
Here's the
He's
problem.
thinking debt to income ratio.
He was taking that $8,000 and putting it all on one credit card.
Wow.
I said, I see, right? Your credit usage ratio is perceived by each individual card.
Yep.
So although you may have, 5 cards that tally up to 30,000, if you have one card that allows you to borrow 10,000 and you're using 8,000 on that one card, your usage ratio is actually way higher than you might think it is from a grand scheme of things. So there's nuances, there's specific things that you can't see on a Credit Karma app.
Yep.
Many people they worry.
Well, like you said, whether it's Credit Karma or whatever, wherever you may be looking at your credit score, typically you're only getting 1 or maybe 2 scores, but there's a number of scores there that you don't fully have access to that also play into all of this.
You got it.
Now, let's go ahead and get into our second topic, which is for those that, again, are moving to Florida, and Tampa Bay has been the biggest recipient of that in the state in terms of just the influx has been unbelievable. I mean, I've seen license plates from states, that you would never think,
Yes.
I mean, you see Oregon and you see, Alaska even. When moving to Florida, I mean, again, people think, the mortgage is kind of maybe this universal thing. What are maybe some of the nuances, here at the Florida level or at the local level that you would want to kind of bring to their attention?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you hit the nail on the head on a couple things. Mortgages are not a one-size-fits-all. They're very specific and custom to what it is you're looking to do. And I would say number one is, like I mentioned before, be intentional. Have a game plan. Don't just go in blind. A lot of people, you mentioned an influx of people coming to Florida. Absolutely. I get calls regularly. Hey, I'm coming to Florida. I just sold my home. I'm ready to jump. And one thing that I see that a lot of people kind of speed bump over is, really logistics and planning, right? Do you need to sell your home first? Do you need to sell your home, after, or could you keep it and turn it into a rental? These are things that a lot of people want to just kind of jump the gun and get into Florida real quickly. But having a proper plan and procedure in place before you list that house or throw in that offer, you got to know exactly the steps to take place, because it's not a one-size-fits-all, scenario for each individual.
Well, and again, that's a perfect opportunity to remind people that, Brandon Rhymes, who typically, is the host of the show, he can help you get that process started. We have all the connections thanks to CPF Mortgage and our other show partners. So Nick France, CPF Mortgage, it's cpfloans.com, the website.
You got it.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll hope to see you back soon.
Yes, sir. sir. Thank you as well.
All right, more coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show, again, including how you could get in free to Zoo Tampa. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in our Feel Good story.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Michael, let me know when you want to proceed. Okay, everybody stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
Also, don't forget to visit the Platinum MVP team at platinummvpteam.kw.com, where you can find all of Brandon's real estate listings, or if you'd like your property to be listed with the Platinum MVP team, make sure to reach out through Brandon and his team through the website. We also want to thank, again, the small businesses that make this program happen, that make our community work and run and succeed economically. There's a few companies that I think make me prouder to be a part of this show than Veteran Gutters. Veteran Gutters is an amazing company owned by and run by veterans. They do all kind of home gutters. They make the house look beautiful. They also allow you to extend the life of your home. As you know, here in Florida, we get tons of rain, and that could be damaging to the foundation of your home. It could be damaging to the exterior of your home. And so you want to make sure that you're taking care of your home's longevity as much as possible. Get a rain gutter system put in your home today by reaching out to Brandon Porter and the team over at Veteran Gutters. Again, proud veteran-owned business and a proud supporter of the Consumer Quarterback Show. As I mentioned earlier, again, the housing market still hot. I think some of the rumors out there is that it may be starting to slow down a little bit, but Brandon has been doing this for a long time, and it's certainly in these kind of more uncertain times that you want to work with a team that you can trust. And the Platinum MVP team has a property listed at 6699 Tree Haven, and that's Tree Haven Drive, in Spring Hill. This is a beautiful single-family home in Spring Hill. Spring Hill, again, one of those communities just exploding because the region is exploding and just growing by leaps and bounds. 1,100 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, stainless steel appliances, a screened-in patio with a huge backyard. Again, Spring Hill, a growing community with lots of places to go shopping, restaurant, definitely golf courses, and again, just a community that you can grow into as it grows as well. So check out 6899 Tree Haven Drive in Spring Hill at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, this really has kind of turned into kind of a personal finance show, as we just had Mark France from CPF Mortgage, and now joining us is Mark Hay with the 21st Century Financial Group. You've been on the show now a few times. You were just telling me how excited you were that some of our listeners have been reaching out to you. That's always awesome to hear, so we appreciate you for kind of keeping us in the loop on that. You are now a financial professional here, trying to help people make sure that they're planning for retirement, or those that may already be in retirement, semi-retirement, how to maximize what they have in terms of retirement funds. Is that right?
You got it. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
And certainly licking our wounds after last night with the Lightning and the Rangers. That
my
was,
gosh.
That was a long one, but we'll be all right.
That game one, it was brutal. It looked so, the first half of the game, was so exciting. It was tied up, and all of a sudden when that gap started opening up, it got more and more painful to watch.
Well, you could tell we had some time off. We were well rested, So,
it always makes you wonder, about the rest element. Is it a thing or not? And but this team seems like the type that gets fueled up by that kind of a loss, and I think they're going to come back real angry and real tough.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow night. That's for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about financial planning.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of these things that, especially, like myself, I'm now into my 40s. And so I feel like I completely skipped my 30s. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really need to start taking this seriously and making sure that I have all my ducks in a row when it comes to financial planning. Also because I have a daughter now and I got to plan for her future, plan for my future. So especially given right now the fact that the market seems somewhat maybe unstable. There's rumors of a recession. Now you've got things like cryptocurrency to factor into. Really, what are some of the kind of tried and true things that you would advise people to do who are looking to, again, maybe get their ducks in a row and truly kind of hunker down and get ready for their retirement? You got it.
Well, that's you covered a lot there, so I'm going to kind of break it down simply. As you said, time does go fast as the older you get. You know, I speak with and meet with people a lot that are in their 60s and 70s, and a decade's a snap of the fingers. Just gone. But when it comes to planning, we don't just push one thing, but we try to diversify people, whether it's taxes and risk and longevity. We want to cover all that. One thing that we were touching on last time I was here was a supplemental life insurance retirement plan. We call it SLRP. And I was going to kind of circle back to that today because we did have some people chime in or call an email regarding that last week. And,
definitely.
And what is that and what can we do? So one being you have a daughter, like you just mentioned. How old is your daughter?
6.
Yeah. One thing that they use for a supplemental life insurance plan is college planning. If you have a Florida prepaid or a 529, which a lot of people do for college planning, that gets reported on college grant applications, which sometimes can eliminate any kind of grants given to you because you saved, you pay for college, and the ones that didn't, we're going to give the grants over here. Right. Yeah. So it's working against you. You got it. Yeah. Whereas if you said, okay, I want to set up a SLRP and I want to put some money in there, and that money is liquid, so it's not tied up till 59 and a half, and it's no penalty, and you say, okay, and my daughter is now 18, and and I need some college funds. Well, guess what? That does not get reported on college grant applications. So you can still apply for all the college grants, hopefully get all the free money you can get, and just keep your money. You don't have to follow any kind of rules how to spend it. You can spend it any way you want, and there's certainly no penalty, no taxes. Now, a lot of people use it for supplemental in retirement because of right now, with the market the way it is, like you just said, the market has been going down since January 1st. And the worst thing to do is have all your money in the market and retire and experience something like this.
Well, and I also want to add on before you move a little further away from these college savings plans, which look, Florida has got a great reputation for their Florida savings account for kids' college tuition, but looking at the landscape, even that it is now, I mean, I don't know if my daughter's going to want to go to college. She may want to go to a technical school, or she may, decide to pursue a passion that she doesn't need to go to a 4-year university for. Maybe she wants to start her own business. So I think that's another thing that parents might want to keep in mind, is to not box themselves in or their kids in with funds that then they may not be able to leverage.
Correct. And I think
for wherever their kids are going.
Yeah, you make an excellent point, because things have changed. Years ago, it was, okay, going to graduate high school, go to college.
Right.
And it's not really the landscape anymore. And like you said, people go off and do businesses or trade school. And then, like you said, let's say we put it into a Florida prepaid, which there's nothing wrong with doing a Florida prepaid or 529. No, I'm not knocking any of that. But let's just look at that. And you say, I put my money into Florida prepaid, and my daughter is now 18, and she's going to go off and she's going to start a photography business.
Yep.
And I'm not going to use that money. What happens?
Sure.
Where does that money go?
Well, and it's kind of like the meme that's been going around. They'll give you $100,000 for a student loan, but they're not going to give you $100,000 to start a business.
You got it.
And so if my daughter, if I'd look at her and I think she's got the goods to make a business or to pursue her passion without the need of a 4-year university, well, the last thing I want is for that money to be locked up.
100%. And the beautiful thing is, if you do the slurp and she does say, okay, I want to go off and I do photography, and you say, look, I put this money away, and I earmarked it for both college planning, and I earmarked it in the event that I'm not here someday, you're going to be taken care of, and I earmarked it for retirement. That being said, if you want to go start a photography business and you need $30,000, I got you. I saved it anyways. Yeah. It's sitting there for you. If you want to take it, you can, and go off and support them doing that way. Whereas if you did a Florida prepaid, you can't have that luxury to say, yeah, I'd be happy to support you in whatever you do with this money.
Well, my favorite story in that regard is actually the story of the founders of Five Guys, the burger chain. The father in that equation had 2 sons, I think. So he had 2 or 3 sons, and he basically had them make the choice. He goes, here's a pot of money. He goes, you can either go to college or we can start a business. What do you want to do? And they actually, as a family, decided to start Five Guys Burgers. Yep. And now look at them. I mean,
there's great stories. Look at Jeff Bezos. Right. Jeff Bezos, which was parents to say, can I borrow $250,000? I want to start this book business called Amazon, and I want to sell books.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest is history. I mean, obviously, we know what happens to Jeff Bezos and Amazon.
Sure.
But the point was that the parents had the money available to them to support whatever venture they were doing, and didn't box them in, like you said, and that's an excellent terminology, box them in to say, well, the money's only earmarked for this, and you can't do it anymore. So that it plays into that role. And so we have a lot of parents that will do that for their college plan. It covers a lot of different arenas. So people don't realize that, not only are you covering college planning, but let's say you don't make it. Let's say, and I tell people all the time, you get hit by the bus tomorrow. What happens?
Sure.
What happens now to your daughter? Do they have to uproot, go somewhere else? But the good news is, with the supplemental life insurance policy, is attached with the death benefit. And so now they get $2 million tax-free to finish high school, go to college, go start a business, whatever it has to be. But if you're there, guess what? All your cash is still there, liquid, available for you to use for college, business, whatever you want to do.
That's amazing. And the other thing too, which I think might be better for us to get into the next segment, which is also to not kind of put your eggs all in one basket. And again, one of the things that I kick myself constantly for is also not having the financial education, because my parents were immigrants, and so they didn't really have the understanding of kind of how our financial system works. And for the first, I think 2 or 3 jobs I had, I actually turned down the 401k options in those jobs But now, even, later on, in doing my own financial planning, I've learned that you also don't want to have all of your money into maybe just a 401k. So that's something we're going to touch on in just a little bit. Again, thank you so much for listening and watching the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you find us on Facebook and YouTube. You can search Brandon Rhymes to find us on those social media platforms. You can also catch the audio version of this show on all of your favorite social media platforms out there on the interwebs. Coming up more with Mark Hay from 21st Century Financial Group and more properties, and also how you can get in free to Zoo Tampa coming up.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Thanks again, everybody, for listening, watching the Consumer Quarterback Show. Your substitute host, Johnny Torres, filling in for Brandon Rhymes. Brandon will be back very soon as he, again, is out there growing the business. He's actually also teaching classes around the state, real estate classes all over the state of Florida. So if you want to maybe consider a career or a side hustle in real estate, again, visit platinummvpteam.kw.com for more information and reach out to Brandon directly, brhymes at kw.com. This segment, again, another amazing business, and Brandon doesn't just put anybody on his show. These are businesses that, he has tried, tested, and proven to be worthy of being a partner in this show, and that's Brothers Easy Moving. Brothers Easy Moving moved Brandon into his current home. You've probably heard both Brandon and James talk about, what an amazing job they did working late into the night, to make sure that they did the job and did it well. So for those of you who may be relocating, you're down here, you're shopping around for a home, and you're wondering, well, now how am I going to get all my stuff into my new place? Well, check out Brothers Easy Moving. They're trustworthy, they're reliable, they'll do a great job for you, and you can find them at brotherseasymoving.com. And then we'll also take a look at another one of the Platinum MVP team's properties here as we go to 507 South Prospect. 507 South Prospect. You can find it again at platinummvpteam.com. And this is just a brand new listing in Clearwater. It's an office building, just under 2,700 square feet. It's an amazing location. You can walk to downtown Clearwater. It's got 12 rooms, couple of bathrooms, 2 stories, plenty of parking. You can rent the rest of the space that you're not using. You're minutes from Gulf to Bay, so even getting around Tampa Bay isn't a problem. It's got a newer roof, new HVAC systems, which again in an office building is crucial. And for those tough days, you're only 10 minutes from Clearwater Beach. So check out the commercial listings as well that we have over at the Platinum MVP team at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Also coming up, how you can get in free to Zoo Tampa, how you may qualify for a free admission into Zoo Tampa as part of our Feel Good story. Mark Hay, 21st Century Financial Group, joining us. We were talking about financial planning. He is a financial planning professional. And before we kind of rejoin the topic, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, you can certainly reach out to me. I have cell phone 727-804-7220. You can call the office 727-222-4550. I'd be happy. You can text me too, but a lot of people text or call. Yeah, no, that's excellent, and we'll make sure to get those in before the segment's over. We were talking about just some kind of simple strategies, because again, this economy is not the same economy from even 30 years ago or 40 years ago. I mean, a lot has changed, and there's also a lot of other options out there. Again, one of the things that I was telling you is off the air before we came back into the segment was that I regret not having signed up for my first 401ks. And I did it out of fear of a lack of education. I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand how it worked. But now that I've gotten myself more educated in the process, I've also realized that that's also not the be-all, end-all. There are a lot of other options, and actually that diversity is maybe the best way to go. Would you say that's true? Yeah. No, you're 100% right. 401ks were actually introduced late 70s, early 80s, and people don't realize everybody had pensions. People were given pensions, corporations and unions were given pensions, and then they came to the big corporations and CEOs, and they looked at their balance sheet and go, your balance sheet doesn't look very good because you have all these people that are not working for you on the payroll. Right. What do you mean? They're all retired 20, 30 years, and you're paying them pensions, and they're on a payroll. What if we did this? What if we said, let's take away those pensions, and let's put it on the employee, and we'll create what's called a 401k, and they can create their own retirement plan or pension and take that liability off their books.
Well, we see so many government agencies, government offices that really are burdened, by those pensions.
Correct.
Because again, the initial design didn't factor in for major population shifts.
Or longevity.
Or longevity.
Longevity's
huge. So those people who have a pension, and if it's been relatively untouched, I mean, that's a very fortunate position to be in, because that's old school. That's non-existent nowadays.
Absolutely. So they rolled into 401k, and certainly then obviously that it took off and people put in the 401k. But the problem is a few things. Taxes, even the 40s, 50s, coming out of World War II, the highest tax bracket was 94%. As a marginal tax bracket. And then you come into the 70s and you're at 70, 75%. We're, historically, we're at a very low tax. So if you're putting into a 401k today, and like you said, you're in your 40s, let's say you're putting into your 401k today, you're actually deducting today at a low level to pay taxes at a higher level.
Sure.
So it's the same thing as a stock. You want to buy low, sell high. You don't want to put into the tax system at a low rate to pay at a higher rate down the road. And so you're right. It's not the end all be all. I tell people, if your company is giving you the match, please, by all means, take the match.
Right.
So if they go to 6%, just go to 6%. It's free money.
Yeah.
And if you say to me, okay, we have some extra cash, what should we do? Then we would start looking at the tax-free side, whether it's a SLRP or it's a Roth, IRA, 401k, if they offer that. And going back to what we were just talking about with that SLRP, that's point of there's no contribution limit. So an IRA is a contribution limit. A 401k is a contribution limit. I don't know if anybody follows college football. I follow college football because it's got to like it. But Jim Harbaugh out of Michigan is one of the highest paid coaches in college football, and his contract is actually genius. And I don't understand why other people don't do it, but he gets $2 million put in a year into his SLRP from Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so they put in $2 million a year. And then he gets his other $6 million, poor guy, of income. But they're putting $2 million a year into that contract. Now, when he leaves, he gets to walk with that contract full of tax-free cash.
Right.
And he wants to live off of $1 million of that contract for the rest of his life, tax-free. If you're in that kind of a tax bracket and you can get $1 million tax-free, it's a no-brainer.
Sure.
If you took $1 million out of any taxable account, like a 401k IRA, you're paying $400,000 to the government right off the top, just because highest tax bracket is 37. So the point is, it's a genius idea. Now, what happens if Jim Harbaugh were to pass during the season, or during his contract, something happens to him? Well, guess what? Michigan's a beneficiary of this thing.
Yeah.
They get all the tax-free money, pour it into their booster club with their other billions of dollars, and they can take their time, go hire somebody, and do what they got to do. So it works both ways, and businesses do that. Now, the corporations that incorporate a 401k, they're not doing a 401k. They're doing what I'm talking about, which is the slurp.
Right.
They're executive bonusing to themselves, etc., and they're putting gobs of money into it because there is no income limit on it.
Well, the other thing, too, is that, and especially in that kind of a situation, is, like you said, you don't know what's down the road. You don't know where that tax rate's going to be down the road. And there are things out there, there are products out there that can help you avoid some of those taxes. Excuse me. But, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
But what people don't realize is that also that this isn't something for just millionaires. This isn't something for just the wealthy.
100%.
You know, that if they come to you at 21st Century Financial, that they're going to get that kind of guidance, that kind of assistance to help defer, and move around, those finances in a way that you can hopefully avoid getting some of that money re-taxed. Or taxed at all, and having that diversity in your retirement portfolio is what's going to help you again keep as much of that money as possible.
Right, and people ask all the time, well, how come I never heard of it? Well, first of all, the government puts very tight restrictions on the advertisement of slurp. Okay, you never see it because they're not allowed to advertise it. Because if everybody ran around and saying, okay, I'm going to put my money in a supplemental life insurance plan, and I'm never going to have to pay taxes ever again, I'm going to live tax free, then there's no money for the idiots in Washington to screw up. So You're not even allowed to advertise it, these companies. Okay, that's why you never heard of it. But
even that money is under threat. I mean, we hear almost at least once a year, that they may be looking at taxing your 401ks.
Yep. Oh, yeah, the Roth IRAs or your slurps. So then people ask, well, who owns it? Well, 4,000 banks own cash value life insurance, and what is that number? It's their largest asset on the book. So 70% of all their assets is in cash value life insurance. So if you took Bank of America has, I believe, 5,600 buildings, okay? They have a third largest building in Manhattan, and they're valued at $13 billion. Their real estate portfolio is $13 billion. But if they said, okay, but what's your largest asset? Their largest asset is cash value at $24 billion. It's double their own real estate.
Yeah.
So you got Citibank that has $5.3 billion. You got J.P. Morgan Chase has got $12 billion. You got Wells Fargo that has $23 billion. 70% of their largest assets is in cash value life insurance. And then you go in there and you say, I would like my money in a CD. And they say, okay, we're going to give you 1% or 50 basis points.
Yeah.
Guess what they do? They walk right over to the insurance company and they get their guaranteed 4%, and they turn around and give it to you.
Right.
So do what the banks are doing.
Yeah,
do what the wealthy people are doing, like you said.
Well, and for more amazing guidance like that, again, let's remind everybody how they can get a hold of you. It's 21st Century Financial Group. Phone number again?
Yep. Cell is 727-804-7220. You can call the office 727-222-4550.
All right, and thank you again, Mark Hay. Also, big thanks to Nick France from CPF Mortgage and Zoo Tampa, offering free admission for Hillsborough County employees. All right, make sure you check that out. If you're a Hillsborough County employee, you get free admission right now to Zoo Tampa. And thanks to those who do and for serving our community. This has been the Consumer Quarterback Show. Johnny Torres filling in for Brandon Rhymes. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, watching, wherever you may be doing so. We'll catch you in the next show. Goodbye.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.